I couldn't really just pause and unpause and go into next one, but I was wondering if we can actually split up the content and make it a little bit more, so the more people will see and the more people will admire what a legendary persona Van Gogh was. If you haven't seen the first part, I'm sorry, and thank you for watching this one. Me myself also a lot of the time just don't watch the first part. I'm also a lot of the time watching from the random episode of my favorite TV shows that I didn't know was going to be my favorite. So here we are at the Gallery 3, Arles of Utopia and Hope. In February 1888, Van Gogh arrived in Arles in the south of France, where he would go on to produce many of his masterpieces. His early studies in realism during the Dutch period, along with encounters with Impressionism and Japanese ukiyo-e in Paris, all came together and culminated in the development of his own distinctive style. At the same time, he rented the Yellow House and began dream of living and working in harmony with a fellow artist. This vision was imbued with a strong desire to create an ideal artistic community. Gallery 3 presents a dramatic transformation of Van Gogh's style in his pursuit of a utopian life in the Yellow House. Van Gogh and Gauguin first met in Paris in 1887. Strongly drawn to each other's works, they quickly formed a close friendship. Though their approaches to painting were markedly different, Van Gogh sought to capture visible reality from everyday life through bold brushwork and vibrant colors. In contrast, Gauguin aimed to express an invisible inner world of imagination, using decorative lines and broad color fields. During their shared time in Arles, the two painted outdoors together and portrayed the same models from different perspectives, inspiring one another through their creative exchanges. At Gauguin's suggestion, Van Gogh also ventured into the challenge of painting from imagination, an unfamiliar yet earnest attempt for him. Precisely because of their contrasting temperaments and styles, their collaboration in art proved to be a fruitful experience for both artists, resulting in many exceptional works. Even after their cohabitation, Edith and Gauguin departed, the two continued to exchange letters, discussing art and aesthetics, dialogues that would profoundly influence their later works. In February 1888, driven by his longing for the sunlight land of Japan, Van Gogh left Paris, set out for Arles in the south of France. But instead of the warm climate he had imagined, he was met with freezing temperatures and a snow-covered landscape. Though disappointed, Van Gogh still found in the Arles a reflection of his idealized Japan, writing that the scenery felt just like Japan. His vision of Japan was far from reality, a romanticized and mistaken impression shaped by his admiration for ukiyo-e prints. Yet, it was precisely the beautiful misunderstanding that became the powerful driving force behind the creative energy. The utopia called Japan that lived in Van Gogh's mind may have been an illusion, but it was this very illusion that inspired the remarkable works he would go on to produce in Arles. In the composition of this piece, focusing on a single modest branch, we can clearly see the influence of Japanese print. Love Japanese paintings and have always and have all been influenced by it. is the true for all impressionist painters. But then, how could we not go to Japan, or at least the equivalent of Japan, the south of France, letter 500, June 1888, built with flowers near Arles.
South of France.
A little town surrounded by fields covered with yellow and violet flowers, just like a dream of Japan. Yeah, it is. Oh. Visiting the past? Alternating strokes of red, orange, and green bring the grass to life, while the bridge, sky, and the river are painted using complementary color pairs such as yellow and blue. These vibrant colors.
South of France, the equivalent of Japan.
Well, I can try to explain to you. You see, Van Gogh has never been to Japan and was only inspired by some style that some Japanese artists brought to the Paris when he was living there. And because of that,
Where are you?
whenever he was mentioning Japan, it was only his imagination based on the styles that he saw and got inspired of in the Paris, if that makes sense. So when he visited the south of France and saw this landscape full of snow and everything, he was a little bit disappointed. So finding something that would resemble the way he saw the flowers in Japan on the previous arts is what inspired him to call the south of France as a Japan from his imagination.
Okay, I get that.
Called it the equivalent. Also, it was the written in his letters to some of his friends, perhaps. So it also just him being funny guy, you know. Where were we? These vibrant colors contrast amplified one another, creating an harmonious world of color that radiates across the entire canvas. At the time, Van Gogh was envisioning a community of artists living and working together in Arles. He rented the yellow house and dreamed of inviting fellow painters such as Gangini to join him with his brother Theo, playing a key role as an art dealer to support the endeavor. Perhaps as he painted this luminous view of the Langus Bridge, Van Gogh imagined his companions arriving from across the bridge, a vision of the artist utopia he so deeply longed to create.
It's realism. It's realism right now. It's not impressionism.
You see, there's a color wheel over there. You just don't understand color theory.
The Sower.
No, you don't get a sand color.
This is an upgrade version of the one we saw before earlier. The motif of the Sower, also featured in Gallery 1, held a profound significance for Van Gogh. To him, the figure of the Sower was more than just a farmer. It was a symbol of renewal, a harbinger of the future. In the act of scattering seeds across the earth, Van Gogh perceived the eternal cycle of death and rebirth, and even glimpsed the nobility of human endeavor. In this work, he masterfully employs complementary color pairs such as yellow and purple, blue and orange, creating a striking visual tension and vibrant energy across the canvas. The thick, expressive brushstrokes do more than convey texture. They seem to pulse with the very breath of the earth itself. As he was writing to the friend, I strongly feel that what is true for gatherings is also true for people. Even if they are sown into the earth and do not take the root, it does not matter, because in the end they are still grounded in the mill and become bread. The words in this letter suggest that even in a sown seed does not sprout, it will eventually be grounded into flora and become bread to nourish someone. Through this metaphor, Vincent van Gogh believed that even things that seem unrewarded still hold meaning. Pink beach trees.
It looks like you.
Sakuras.
So
Huh?
you know how the whole world refers to him as Van Gogh?
Huh?
His name is Vincent, correct?
Yes.
So, but everyone refers to him as Van Gogh.
This is his surname, isn't it?
Is Van not his middle name?
Perhaps. I'm not familiar with that. We can call him Vincent Gogh. That makes sense.
Yeah, his name is Vincent Gogh, but everyone refers to him as Van Gogh.
Interesting. Maybe we'll find it later. Maybe not. I can try to find the answer for you.
Ooh, this one's nice.
This is
Look at the
nice.
blues.
Yeah, I was about to say
Maybe
same
they
thing.
tell
I like
us
the blue.
later.
You like
Oh,
blue.
see? Look, he used.
I will
his
find you an
red,
answer.
orange,
Give me a moment.
green, and blue. And they
Do you hear me?
contrast. What? I'm being so for real. I was
Yeah,
reading it. I'm
I
being
know.
so for real.
I know.
So,
Okay,
The,
That's really
in
good.
Dutch, the Gogh, the one
what's the tr-
No,
is
this one.
prefix meaning from, used in the surnames,
is, and people
like
actually
one reach,
bullying
one
this
dick.
man into suicide, saying
So
his life is
Vincent giving name
Teach
and
you- I'll
Van
teach you
Gogh,
how to do art. We can do it
literally
10
from
minutes
Gogh,
now.
is a town in the Netherlands.
Why is this? He kind of looks like someone I know, but he also kind of looks like an alien.
Looks like an alien. Yeah.
Yeah, but he also kind of looks like
Looks
someone.
like
He
Benedict
looks like someone I know.
Benedict
That's why
Cumberbatch.
I think that's what I'm thinking of.
His painting almost always just say Vincent,
Benedict Cumberbatch.
when he is always referring to himself as only Vincent.
He said that was his nickname in
So,
high school.
Okay, so it's like
so
a
Van Gogh is
first
hard.
person, third person
Yes.
kind of thing he does.
The P has been completed.
Art history follows surname convention, just like we say Picasso and not Pablo Ruiz, or Monet and not Oscar Monet. We say Van Gogh. We use Van Gogh because it's his surname, following art convention. He signed Vincent always, but that was his personal branding and not how historians cataloged him. So we only call him Van Gogh because of the historians. Him himself was always calling him Vincent, as Van Gogh was just the town that he was from in the Dutch.
Alright. That is very interesting.
Right, what is the... Should I go from here then?
How history does stuff like that.
Yeah. This gallery is a little bit harder to explore because there is two ways you can go for.
Right.
Complementary colors and visual effects. The impact of color in Van Gogh paintings. From now on, I'll call him Vincent. Don't care about the historians. We care about the person himself. In the latter half of the 19th century, the application of color theory played a pivotal role in the innovation of artist expression. Among the artists who skillfully harnesses these ideas, Vincent is especially renowned for his use of complementary color contrast. Complementary colors are those that lies opposite each other of the color wheel. For example, red and green, blue and orange, or yellow and purple. This pair creates a strong visual contrast, and when placed side by side, they intensify each other's saturation, resulting in a striking optical effect. For Vincent, the use of complementary colors was not merely a matter of visual technique. It served as a powerful means of expressing emotional tension and psychological depth. He was the painter who sought to convey inner feelings through color, and the interplay between harmony and opposition in complementary tones became one of his most symbolic tools. This section presents examples of complementary colors used in Van Gogh paintings alongside of a color wheel. We invite you to explore how the artist selected and composed his colors, not only to depict what he saw, but to reveal what he felt. Ooh. Gotta get some water now.
Have you been reading all the passages so far?
Yes, I'm recording.
Oh, sorry.
All good, don't worry. I'm happy to. I've never been to a museum as such. I hope I'm not disturbing others.
I don't believe so. I think everyone is just exploring, enjoying themselves.
Cafe Terrace at night. This work is often considered the first in which Vincent depicted a starry night. Astronomical analysis has shown that the arrangement of stars in the painting matches the night sky of, over Arles on September 16, 1788. The piece reflects Vincent's view of nature as a divine creation of his commitment to rendering visible reality with accuracy and reverence. He had really nice, cool, really. Where I look at this, I don't see stars, even wearing a little. But at the time, Vincent relied on his brother Theo to cover his living expenses. In order to prioritize art supplies, he often sacrificed meals and lived in extreme poverty, to the point that he could not afford to enter this very cafe. It was only when one of his few visitors in Arles, the painter Eugen Boch, invited him out that Vincent finally stepped inside, inspired by this night. He completed his painting soon after. The work employs one-point perspective, with articular lines converging towards a vanished point. Throughout the composition, complementary colors, particularly the deep blue of the night sky and the brilliant yellow of the cafe lights, interact vividly. Notably, Vincent used no black, instead achieving depth and contrast through pure color. On the pavement, subtle shifts in proportions of blue, yellow, and orange create a flickering, uneven sense of light, evoking the atmosphere shimmer of night. The painting's position and palette are carefully calculated, revealing Vincent's exceptional attention to pictorial structure. He once described the interaction of complementary colors as a pair of flowers. This painting is quintessential expression of that idea, a culmination of the color experiments he had pursued since this time in Paris. The canvas of which I have painted something certainly was more than a blank one. Oh, this is, for me, the very essence of my right to paint, my reasons for painting. Believe me, I deserve nothing more than this. And in the end, I have made sacrifices for the life I could live and had to live. My body has been battered, my mind thrown into confusion, yet my concentration is becoming ever more intense and my brush work more assured. But let me make this. My paintings will grow better because in the end, this is all I have to leave behind. I often think that the nights is more alive and more rich colored than the day. I wanted to express the terrible passion of humanity through red and green. The room is painted in vivid red and dull yellow with a green billiard table in the center. 4 lemon yellow lamps cast an orange and green glow over everything. What I tried to express in the painting of the night's cafe is that the cafe is the place where one can ruin oneself, commit or commit a crime. But I tried to express the terrible passion of humanity through the use of red and green. I have attempted to convey the oppressive power of this sinister bar's interior by means of contrast, a pale sulphur yellow that evokes something infernal, set against harsh yellow-green and blue-green, delicate pinks, vivid reds, wine-colored tones, and the soft greens of Veronese. all colliding within this composition. I wonder if drawing from the memory. Perhaps yes. Gauguin was once a successful stockbroker, but at the age of 35 he gave up his career to pursue life as a painter. Although he initially studied the techniques of impressionists, he gradually began to feel the limitations of faithfully reproducing nature colors and shifting light. Around the age of 39, he encountered the young painter Emile Bernard and the others, and together they established the philosophy of synthetism, which sought to express inner reality rather than merely imitate the external world. This movement aimed to depict inner images and symbols through flat areas of colors, decorative contour lines, challenging the very foundation of Western painting's traditions. As a token of what they saw in Japanese-style friendship, Gauguin and Bernard each sent a self-portrait to Vincent. In return, Vincent painted a self-portrait in which he likened himself to Japanese monk. Self-portrait dedicated to Vincent Lord Gauguin. Well, I'll go back there in a moment. We're now going back to the pink peach trees. In early days of Vincent's pursuit to become a painter, it was Anton Mauve, a member of the Hague school, who gave him his first instruction in oil painting. Although their relationship eventually grew distant due to personal difference, Van Gogh never forgot his respect of Mauve. Shortly after completing his work, Van Gogh received news of Mauve's death. Deeply moved, he inscribed the words in the memory of Mauve in the lower left corner of the painting. One of the landscape in which he felt a rare sense of accomplishment as a tribute to his former mentor. The painting reflects in the influence of Impressionism in its bright color palette and depiction of nature light. At the same time, it hints Van Gogh emerging individuality through his use of complementary colors and increasingly dynamic brushstrokes. It is a work in which quiet emotion gently pulls with the artist's journey. Fades, the light, sky, clouds, in the memory of my youth. Self-portrait dedicated to Paul Gauguin. Vincent believed that in Japan it was customary for artists to exchange self-portraits, and he created this work as a gift for his friend Paul Gauguin. At the time, Pierre-Loti's exotic novel Madame Chrysanthème was popular, and it is said that Van Gogh drew inspiration from the image of Japanese monk depicted in the story when the painting is a self-portrait. His upward gaze, closely shaven head, and the green circle stroke behind him evoking a halo, all reflected Van Gogh's imagined vision of Japan. The artist described his painting as a self-portrait as a bonzo worshipping the eternal Buddha, expressing not only his yearning for an idealized Japan, but also his deep longing for a spiritual truth. I had long been touched by the fact that the Japanese painters actually used to exchange works among themselves. This is the proof that they loved and supported one another, and then a certain kind of harmony prevailed among them. Vincent dreamed of living and creating together with fellow artists, and even before anyone had agreed to join him, he went ahead and rented what would become known as the Yellow House in Orleans. He eagerly wrote letters detailing his plans to decorate the house, even purchasing 12 chairs in anticipation of his companion's arrival. These preparations reveal a childlike, innocent excitement for the life he envisioned. However, the only artist who ever came was Paul Gauguin. He, too, was in financial difficulty and reluctantly agreed to travel to Arles on the condition that Vincent's brother Theo would purchase his work. Due to Van Gogh's difficult personality and other challenges, the artist's dream of utopia shared by fellow creators never came to fruition. His time living with Gauguin came to an end after just 2 months. Sunflowers. 1 sec. Bouquet and sunflower. Loud Monette. Feel. It is as if fairly in love and trembling with passion in her greenish crepe grey robe. Art critic Ludwig.
I'm Australian.
Sunflowers, as well is widely recognized, is one of Vincent's most iconic works. He poured his passion into this series of sunflower paintings in preparation to welcoming Paul Gauguin to the Yellow House in Arles. Intending them to decorate a friend's bedroom, originally Vincent planned to complete 12 pieces, but as the sunflower season passed, he was forced to replicate some of the complete works instead. The thick application of paints gives a powerful texture to the petals and seeds, with the centers of the flowers appearing especially vivid, raised, and full of life, as if the brush has been pressed into the canvas. The composition demonstrates Vincent's masterful use of complementary colors, what he called a symphony in blue and yellow, and the use of yellow, in which in the background shows his remarkable ability to create harmony within a single tonal range. Traditionally believed to turn towards the sun, sunflowers have long symbolized faith, love, and hope. Perhaps Vincent painted this radiant yet deeply heartfelt work while dreaming of a future in which he and his fellow artists might build an ideal community together. And some different flowers, having a pleasant time. One apparently at the night. A little bit sad. Those one on the other side are quite happy, looking all the way around, seeing the sun everywhere, and even within. This one are looking like they were taking on a rather a peaceful day. They do look similar to the one before, but they are still different. And this one are feeling a little bit more angry with the red colors. This painting was made on 12th of something, 1888 towards 1889. And this one, much as I would like to avoid it, is feeling like it was made on the wind day, resembling with the different weather and their sustainability. But it's just my interpretation. Hope you have your own. And if not, I'm happy to share mine with you. As a decoration for the room, I painted my bedroom on the size of 30 canvas. I truthfully enjoyed painting this simple interior with a kind of simplicity that could rival vrchat. The wall are pale lilac, the floor a faded, worn-out red, the chairs and the bed chrome yellow, the pillows and sheets very light lemon green, the bedspread scarlet red, the washstand orange, and the basin blue, and the windows green. Yes, by using such a variety of contrasting colors, I wanted to express a sense of absolute rest. Letter to Gogh again, B 1888. The chair on the left, representing Vincent, is a simply adorned wooden chair, plain and humble, evoking the quiet rhythm of everyday life. In contrast, Gauguin chairs on the right is a sturdy armchair with a warm, solid presence, exuding a sense of dignity and authority. Vincent placed a pipe on his chair as a symbol of himself, an object of modest daily ritual. On Gauguin chair, however, he depicted a little candle and the two novels. The candle can be seen as a symbol of life, while the books may represent an art and intellect. These two contrasting chairs serve as a quiet portraits of the artists themselves, reflecting not only Vincent's deep regard to Gauguin, but also the complexity of their relationship. In the early morning of late October 1888, Gauguin finally arrives in Orleans. Vincent, who had long awaited his moment alone, was overjoyed at the beginning of their long-anticipated life together. Gauguin, on the other hand, a skilled cook and meticulous by nature, soon found himself exasperated by Vincent's indifference to domestic matters, eventually taking charge of the household duties in the Yellow House. The two artists engaged in a passionate discussion about art, and at the time painted the same model, pouring each other creativity, pouring each other creatively in what were intense, stimulating days. However, their vastly different personalities and artistic visions gradually gave rise of tension. As the conflict between them deepened, tragic incident brought an abrupt end to their dreams of shared artistic life after just 2 months. This work was an experimental piece for Van Gogh, in which he attempted to depict an inner world through imagination, much like Gauguin. Influenced by Gauguin, he sought to push the boundaries of his artistic expression. However, Vincent ultimately needed a model before him, something tangible to observe. Unlike Gauguin, who could draw from memory and inner vision with a rich imagination, Vincent could only paint what he saw in the real, visible world. A collapse of the utopia. Around 18:30 p.m. on December 23, the Dutch painter Vincent van Gogh appeared at the first official brothel and handed a piece of his severed ear to a prostitute named Rachel. He reportedly said, "Keep this carefully," before leaving the scene. This incident, which could only be seen as the act of poor madman, was reported to the police. The following day, the authorities found the man lying in his bed at home in a critical condition. This unfortunate man was immediately admitted to a mental hospital. Self-portrait with bandage ear. The eyes are green. The incident in which Van Gogh severed his own ear remains shrouded in mystery. The only contemporary account is found in Gauguin's memory, an account known to be embellished and unreliable. This event marked the end of Van Gogh's shared life with Gauguin and led to his admission to a mental hospital. According to the doctors who examined him immediately after his incident, Vincent had cut off most of his left ear, as indicated by the dotted lines in the accompanying diagrams. From this point, Vincent began depicting himself in self-portraits, facing left, seemingly to conceal the injured side of his head. Beneath the midnight sky, the big, deeper Ursa Major radiates brilliantly, while the colors of the blue and yellow refers to Vincent as two lovers seem to converse in harmony, resonating beautifully across the canvas. In the lower right corner, a couple walks closely together under the jewel-like stars, their presence enveloped in a gentle and tranquil poetic atmosphere, starry night over their own work. The still life is a plate of onion. This work was painted shortly after Vincent was discharged from the hospital of in Arles, following the infamous cutting incident. On the table, we see a pipe, a symbol of Vincent himself, placed beside a lit candle which represents gouging. Together, they seem to evoke a sense of reflection on their lost days of shared love living. Further symbols such as sprouting onion suggest of renewal, and the including of Respel Almanac de la Santa reveals the artist's desperate yet sincere desire to keep living despite the emotional and physical wound he bore. After the incident, the residents of Ars submitted the petition demanding Vincent removal, making it difficult for him to remain in the Yellow House. Fearing a relapse of his mental illness, Vincent voluntarily admitted himself to a psychiatric hospital in Saint-Remy. This painting was created during his stay at the hospital, where he would spend about a year. Despite suffering from periodic attacks, Vincent remained relatively stable in between episodes and devoted himself to painting. In letters to his brother Theo, he wrote calmly and truthfully about the composition and colors of his work. Though plagued by both physical and emotional struggles, Van Gogh art during this time was continuing to exhibit a remarkable sanity, grounded in deep intellect and sensitivity that persisted even in the heart of a personal turmoil. Window in the Street, 1889. I am in my right mind. I am the Holy Spirit, stepping beyond next chapter of his life. And you can see this in the next video. Hope you're having a great time as I am. A lot of candles ahead of us. And may your night be bright.